Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So I'm going to be giving you my starting 11 prediction for the Manchester United Tottenham game. So going to go with David De Gea in goal. Like I've already mentioned before, he will remain our #1 goalkeeper this season. And he will stay at Manchester United for at least this season. Could possibly leave the football club next summer. But personally speaking, I think we should put Dean Henderson as #1 because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our #1 goalkeeper. You know, Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him. In Dean Henderson's last 2 games, he has not conceded. And Dean Henderson has been part of the club for several years because we got him at the age of 14. A few weeks ago, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year deal with Man United worth 120 grand a week. You know, this season is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. He has made over 400 appearances for the club in all competitions. He's made over 300 appearances in the Premier League. Now, I think David De Gea has probably had 7 good years. Out of the 9 years or so he's been at Manchester United, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes. Now, we paid just over £18 million for De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. David De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. But when De Gea does leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. Don't forget, he's the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, and he's the highest paid at the club because he's on 375 grand a week. De Gea signed a 4-year deal with us last September. Right back, I think we're going to go with Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. You know, this season is Wan-Bissaka's second season at Manchester United. He's just got to improve his attacking intent because that's what he's really lacking at the moment. But I think his defensive contribution's always been very, very good. And I think Bissaka can be our right back for the next 9 to 10 years. Could emulate into the next Gary Neville. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. Centre-back partnership, Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire. Solskjaer has already confirmed that Bailly will be playing more regularly this season. I do prefer him to Victor Lindelof. You know, my only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he is injury prone. Bailly's endured a good 4 years or so now at Manchester United. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016. You know, we paid £30 million for him. Harry Maguire. Solskjaer's already made his decision on Harry Maguire. He will remain Manchester United captain this season. There's still aspects of his game that I've obviously got to improve. As it stands at the moment, Harry Maguire is our second most expensive signing, and he is the most expensive centre-half in the world because we got him in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. Harry Maguire's recently had a knock, like Solskjaer confirmed in his press conference, but he said he's going to be available for today's game, which is good news. Left back, we'll go with Luke Shaw. Obviously, as it stands at the moment, Luke Shaw is our first choice left back. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone, so he's got to improve his fitness. Not so long ago, he recovered from an ankle injury. You know, Luke Shaw's endured a good 6 years or so now at the club. We got him from Southampton back in 2014 for around £30 million. I think we will play Paul Pogba alongside Matic. I think Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United for at least this season. He did well, though, in the recent game against Brighton, didn't he, in the Carabao Cup. Came on and, you know, got his name on the score sheet. It was a fantastic goal as well. But prior to that game, he hasn't really had a fantastic start to the season. I thought Pogba towards the end of last season was very, very good because I thought his combination with Bruno Fernandes was exceptional. For the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on Pogba because he was out with that ankle injury. Pogba has sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. This is now his 5th season at the club since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. We paid 89 million for Pogba, so as it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing. Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, I think confirmed before our season started that Pogba wants to stay at Man United and he will hold talks over a new contract. As it stands at the moment, just got under a year left on his current contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Now, earlier on this year, we was very critical of Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola. The main explanation is because he publicly criticised Solska and Manchester United, didn't he? But he's had a long-running transfer saga as Paul Pogba, and I think we've got to get him a new long-term contract to end, this uncertainty over his future. Madrid have been in for him before. There's been talks about him going back to Juventus. PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Nemanja Matic, I think he'll stay at Manchester United for at least this season. Could even possibly stay for next season as well. I think there's definitely aspects of his game that have really improved. Matic has enjoyed a good 3 years or so now at Manchester United. Got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. And not so long ago, Matic signed a 3-year deal with the club. When we signed Matic in 2017, I mentioned to you I did have reservations about him because obviously he's slow and all of that. And he's had some bad games as a Manchester United player, but I really do think he has improved. He's in his 30s now, by the way, is Matic. Now, I think we'll play Bruno Fernandes ahead of Paul Pogba and Matic. There again, we could go with Donny van der Beek. If he was to select Donny van der Beek, he would be making his full Premier League debut for the football club. Donny van der Beek has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Obviously scored on his Premier League debut against Crystal Palace when he came on. Did well in the Luton game, did well in both games against Brighton. Got Donny van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million. Van der Beek signed a 5-year contract with the club with an option of a further year, and he currently wears that number 34 shirt. But I think we'll probably go with Bruno Fernandes. That's if he's fit, because I heard he's had some kind of injury, has he, Bruno Fernandes? Bruno Fernandes has been at Manchester United now for almost a year because we got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January. We got him in a deal. Was it worth £55 million? I think Bruno Fernandes won some Matt Busby Player of the Season last season, reflecting on his good run of performances. I think he's won Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times and scored around 13 or 14 goals for us in all competitions since his arrival. But he's definitely made the difference in the team. So we'll either go Fernandes or Van der Beek ahead of Pogba and Matic. On the left-hand side, we will go with Marcus Rashford. I've got to say Marcus Rashford has really, really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Not so long ago, Marcus Rashford recovered from an ankle injury. Last season, Marcus Rashford had a back injury and he was out for a few months. Rashford scored in our last league game against Brighton. That was his first goal of the Premier League season. Rashford has been at Manchester United now for around 15 years because he's now 22 and he's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016 and he's become an integral part of our team since then. On the right-hand side, I think we will go with Mason Greenwood. Now, Mason Greenwood has been withdrawn from Gareth Southgate's England squad again. Solskjaer's reacted to this and he's backed Gareth Southgate's decision to drop Mason Greenwood from the England squad. Don't forget, before the start of our season, we had a few issues with Mason Greenwood, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's held negotiations with him regarding his private life. We currently now know Mason Greenwood wears the number 11. He's the fourth Manchester United player to wear the number 11, isn't he? But I think he's definitely the foreseeable future for the club. And up top, we will go with Anthony Martial. I think Anthony Martial has definitely improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. He was exceptional last season. I also thought he was very, very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's enjoyed a good 5 years or so now at the football club. For the vast majority of his tenure, he has played out wide, but obviously now he wears that number 9 because he's very effective in that central position. So this is how I think we're going to line up today against Tottenham. I've already given you my preview for the game. I recently give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. This is going to be a tough game today for Manchester United. Tottenham have been in a good vein of form recently. You know, they recently beat Maccabi Haifa by 7-2 in the Europa League. Harry Kane scored a hat-trick in that one. They recently notched Chelsea out of the Carabao Cup 5-4. But they did draw their last league game against Newcastle 1-1. We are unbeaten in our last 3 Premier League games against Tottenham. Today's game is going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's third meeting as Manchester United manager with Jose Mourinho. Solskjaer's already overcome Jose Mourinho once because in this fixture last season we beaten Tottenham by 2-1. But at the London Stadium, it was a the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it was a 1-1 draw. And Jose Mourinho is going to be reuniting with Manchester United, isn't he? Don't forget, Jose Mourinho endured 2.5 years with us. He did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season, also got second in his first season. And Mourinho recommended around 11 players in to Manchester United, and the vast majority of his team now is Jose Mourinho. So put into the equation, Solskjaer's inheriting them players, from the Mourinho era. But I presume that Mourinho will want to definitely get one over Solskjaer, won't he? Because he's not yet beaten him as a manager. I think Jose Mourinho has passed his sell-by date. He's got an exceptional pedigree behind him, reflecting on what he's won and all of that. I think he's won around 25 major honours in his managerial career as Jose Mourinho. But, there's been a lot of Tottenham fans that have been very critical of Jose Mourinho. Tottenham did appoint Mourinho was it last year? And I think definitely Tottenham made a mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino did endure 5.5 years with them. And analysing the vast majority of Mauricio Pochettino's tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4, weren't they? Was it in 2018 Pochettino guided Tottenham to the Champions League final? That was actually their first ever Champions League final, wasn't it? And he's proven in the Premier League is Pochettino, isn't he? But my only element of concern about him is not won anything in terms of silverware, has he? But to be fair, Tottenham have made some good signings in this summer transfer window. They obviously brought Holberg in, presumably he'll be playing for them today. They brought Joe Hart in on a free. They brought Kyle Walker-Peters in, he should be playing today. They brought Doherty in, he should be playing for them today. Obviously, they brought Reguilon in from Real Madrid. He should be starting today. Bale, they brought him back. He won't be playing today because he's out with injury, is Gareth Bale. There's other players that they've brought in recent years, like Gedson Fernandes. They got him on loan from Benfica. They brought Steven Bergwijn in. They got, obviously, Giovanni Lo Celso permanently. They also brought Ryan Sessegnon in. So Jose Mourinho has now made quite a few signings as Tottenham manager, hasn't he? I think another one of the mistakes Tottenham made was getting rid of Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen left Tottenham in January to join Inter Milan. Christian Eriksen was a long-serving player as well at Tottenham. He enjoyed around 7 years with them. Danny Rose is now back at Tottenham though, because he was obviously out on loan with Newcastle last season. But Tottenham have still got some very good players, that could cause us problems today. They've obviously got Harry Kane, one of the top strikers in the world, like Solskjaer was saying in his press conference. And, he's happy. Solskjaer said he's happy that Kane's fit, from the injury that he had last year. And we'll do everything we can to keep him quiet. Don't forget, we've been in for Kane before. They've obviously got Lucas Moura, very, very good player. Human Son, good player, but he's unavailable today. He's out with injury. I also think that Lo Celso is out with injury. Dele Alli, very, very good. I've heard rumours that PSG have been interested in Dele Alli. They've got Tanguy Ndombele, very, very good competitive midfielder. I think he's Tottenham's most expensive signing at the moment. Davinson Sanchez, pretty good for them. So, there you go. This is our third league game of the season. So far, we've played, 4 games in all competitions. Obviously, lost the opening game of the season against Crystal Palace 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995, obviously. But since then, we've bounced back, with a 3-0 win over Luton in the Carabao Cup third round. We was always expected to win that anyway. Then, obviously, beat Brighton in our last league game 3-2. You can say we rolled our luck in that one. Solskjaer made that admission. And we recently beat Brighton in the Carabao Cup 3-0, didn't we? So that's your starting 11 prediction for the game and everything else. Now, let me just delve into some more transfer news. So, there's a few shirt numbers that Edison Cavani could wear at Manchester United. Now, he could possibly wear the number 7, because obviously, we've got number 7 vacant at the moment. Could possibly wear number 19. Could possibly wear number 27. Now, Manchester United have signed Edison Cavani on a free transfer. He has signed a 2-year contract with the football club that will keep him at the club until 2022, and we're going to be paying him £200,000 a week. So that will make him one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. And it did say he's set to fly to Manchester today to undergo his medical. But he will be officially a Manchester United player, I think, tomorrow. Edison Cavani is our second signing in this summer transfer window, along with Donny van de Beek. Now, Edison Cavani left PSG earlier on in the summer. He did endure 7 years with PSG. He scored 200 goals in 301 appearances in all competitions. He won 6 Ligue 1 titles, 4 French Cups and 5 French League Cups. When PSG did get him, they paid around €64 million for him from Napoli. That equates to around 55 million in pounds sterling. Don't forget, Leeds were in for him before, and so too were a few other clubs. But I believe that Edison Cavani will be the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He is in his 30s. My only element of concern about Edison Cavani is, his injuries. He's got a record of injuries, hasn't he? But, Martial now is going to face competition, with Edison Cavani coming in. Maybe Edison Cavani won't start. So, So that's the news on him. But Fabrizio Romano confirmed this yesterday that we was talking with his agent, wasn't we? Now, let me delve into some news on Alex TELLES from Porto. So I'm hoping that Manchester United can get a deal done today for Alex TELLES. Now, Solskjaer has pleaded our board to meet Porto's £18 million asking price. We're not willing to meet their £18 million asking price. We're only willing to pay £12 million for the player. Now, Mohamed Bouatsi from RMC Sport did say a few weeks ago that Alex Telles has agreed personal terms with Man United, and he said he has agreed a 5-year contract with the club worth £70,000 a week. Now, Alex Telles has got a release clause of around £36 million. He's got, is it around 9 or 10 months left on his current contract? So from a Porto perspective, they'd rather cash in for him now rather than letting go on a free next year. He's been at Porto now a good few years, hasn't he? Before he was at Porto, he had a loan spell over at Milan. Before that, he was at Galatasaray. When he was younger, he played for Grêmio and Juventude. He is the age of 27. He's predominantly a left-back, and Man United have got to get a left-back in. We've got two predominant left-backs in the team at the moment. That's Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams, isn't it? No. So Telles to Manchester United is still a possibility. It really, really is. Jadon Sancho. I think there's a lot of Manchester United fans now that are convinced that Sancho to Man United is not going to happen. Michael Zorg, Borussia Dortmund sporting director, he said that Sancho is staying at Borussia Dortmund for this season. We've recently submitted a new bidding for Sancho. Reportedly, we've offered £100 million. Something like that, is it? I think it said we've offered like 95 million. And this will be paid in installments of 19 million. Yes. And I think it said there'd be an extra £15 million, reflects on what Jadon Sancho achieves at the club. Now, Sky Sports obviously said last week that we'd had a £91.3 million bid turned down for Sancho. We'd offered like 73 million up front with 18 million in add-ons. Now, it did fuel more speculation up though yesterday because Sancho was withdrawn from Dortmund's squad for their game against Freiburg. I think they said he had illness or something like that. Dortmund did beat Freiburg 4-0. He was also withdrawn from Dortmund's game against Bayern Munich in the German Super Cup, so you can say that fueled speculation up. But Borussia Dortmund's valuation is £108 million. They want it all. And Dortmund remain ruthless over their valuation, and throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. So it's probably looking likely now we're not going to get Sancho on the board. And, this is why we are now looking at a lot of alternatives to him. Ousmane Dembele to Manchester United is a possibility. I give you the news on Ousmane Dembele this morning. Apparently now he's available for a cut price fee of 60 million. We have got no intentions of getting Ousmane Dembele permanently. We've been in advanced talks with Barcelona over getting him on loan. Paul Pogba's been recently talking with Ousmane Dembele. Trying to convince him to come to Manchester United. Ronald Koeman gave us an update on Ousmane Dembele recently and said his future depends on him. My only element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is that he's injury prone because he's had quite a lot of injuries as a Barcelona player. He's been at Barcelona for over 3 years. He's made 75 appearances for Barcelona in all competitions. He's still got a contract with them till 2022. Barca got him in a deal worth 135 million from Dortmund in 2017, didn't they? So he's one of the alternatives we've been looking at. We've been looking at Jovetic from Real Madrid. We've inquired about getting him on loan. Real Madrid did pay £55 million for Jovetic from Frankfurt last year. Rabbi Matondo, we've been in for him before. Douglas Costa, he's another one of the alternatives. Ismail Assar from Watford, he's another one of the alternatives. So there's much cheaper solutions than Sancho, isn't there? But yeah, the summer transfer window shuts tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We've obviously, made 2 signings, but from my own perception, I don't think Solskjaer's been backed enough. He really, really hasn't, and I think he does deserve more backing as Manchester United manager because he's publicly admitted that the club have got to spend money. Solskjaer's actually come out and blamed Man United's former managers Mourinho and Van Gaal for the lack of signings. Louis Van Gaal must have spent a good £200 million when he was at the club. Jose Mourinho, he must have spent a good 400 million or just under 400 million pounds on 11 players. But the board are to blame, and throughout the course of this summer transfer window, Solskjaer has expressed his frustration against the board. We've been very, very critical of Woodward and the Glazers for several years. Obviously, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. We've also made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years, and that's one of the main explanations we've been so inconsistent. And just the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired have not been backed enough. Woodward's been at the club since 2012. The Glazers have been at the club since 2005. I think also too Matt Judge is accountable as well for some of the failure of transfers, and Matt Judge has been at the club for around 7 years. But there's a lot of Manchester United fans that have been demanding the board out. Also, for the vast majority of this summer transfer window, departures have proven to be difficult, not only making signings. We've offloaded a couple of players recently. Don't forget, we let Diego Dalot go to AC Milan on loan. Andres Pereira went to Lazio on a 1-season loan. There's still other players, though, that we're looking to get rid of. We're obviously looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard. We're looking to get rid of Smalling, Rojo, Jones, Dalot, Sergio Romero. He's open to leaving the football club. Solskjaer recently said that he was prepared to sell Daniel James for around £25 million. We could sell James if we can get a winner in before the transfer window shuts. But if we don't get a winner in, then we'll probably end up keeping Daniel James. Leeds are the ones that are interested in Daniel James out there. But Solskjaer's totally blameless when it comes to, the lack of transfer activity. He really, really is. Solskjaer has spent around £240 million so far at Manchester United, hasn't he? He's made good signings, to be fair. He obviously brought James in last summer and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in January, bought Bruno Fernandes and Odin Igalo in. And, he's brought Donny van der Beek in this window. We're on the verge of getting Edison Cavani. But we still know there's key areas where Manchester United are lacking. To be fair, Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in to the football club. We've seen players like Sanchez leave, Lukaku, Herrera, Fellaini, Darmian, Valencia, Young, Angel Gomez. We've also loaned a few players out like I've mentioned. But Solskjaer's obviously come out and he said that we haven't been able to exploit the transfer market due to the coronavirus pandemic. We haven't been able to do it. And he admits, the club have lost a lot of money, but loads of teams have lost a lot of money, reflecting on this, coronavirus pandemic. I also like the way Solskjaer has promoted the youth as well. The young players have been obviously given their chances. So there's positive to take from his tenure, like I've said before. Solskjaer's been at Manchester United now nearly 2 years, And I think for Solskjaer to keep his job at Manchester United, I think this season he's got to guide us to a top 4 finish, or maybe top 2 or top 3 finish, and win a trophy. Because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Solskjaer era, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. If he don't exceed these expectations, then possibly could get sacked as Manchester United manager. This is Solskjaer's second full season at the club. But we've got to give him more time. You know, Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, like, explore on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.